Hi, I'm Tamra and I want to welcome you back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make Okanagan Baked Chicken. And the star ingredient in this recipe is peaches and then sweet onions. We grow both of these on our farm, and the flavor of them in this time of the year is just unbelievable. I just absolutely love peaches, so I use peaches in whatever I can and eat as many fresh as well. All right, so this recipe calls for 3 peaches. And these are Red Haven, and the reason that you could tell if a peach is ripe if it peels pretty easy. And if you're just peeling a few peaches, it doesn't really matter if you blanch them or not. But I just thought I would show you the process of blanching just in case you're not familiar with what to do, because it does speed up the process. So blanching is really just putting your fruit into boiling water and then submersing it into cold water. So I blanch both peaches and tomatoes just because, like I said earlier, it really speeds up the process. So a matter of into the boiling water, into cold water. There we go. For some reason, this peeling is extremely thin. Now, I'm not exactly sure why that is. It could be the growing season, and really the growing season can really affect fruit dramatically. But as you can see, it's really peeling nicely. It just sort of slips off the flesh of the peach. So while I'm doing this, I'm just going to explain to you the different types of peaches. There's freestone peach, there's clingstone peach, and semi-freestone peach. A lot of people get confused, and really what that means is that the flesh comes away from the fruit very easily. And once I slice this, you'll see that it's a semi-freestone. It will pull away from the pit nicely, but the trick is to have them the right ripeness. My peaches are peeled, and I'll just set those aside while I prepare the chicken. So you need to put about a teaspoon of salt in this recipe, and I actually usually mix it into the flour, and then that way it's going to be coated on the chicken. And you brown it on both sides. While I'm browning the chicken, I'm going to go ahead and cut up a red pepper. The recipe calls for a cup. So depending on the size of your red pepper. Now I don't use the inside membranes, and then I just slice mine very thinly. I've just browned my chicken. Now I've turned it, and I'm just going to let that brown a bit more while I continue on. This is a Walla Walla sweet onion. We grow these at the farm, and they are very, very mild and very, very sweet. So you can actually often, if you're using a really sweet onion like that, you can use more in your recipe than what it would call for, because it doesn't have a really strong flavor. Now these are super big, so I'm thinking about a half of an onion should more than do the trick to fill a cup. So red peppers are in slivers, so I'm going to cut my onions the same way. Just going to lay the flat part down on the board and then just make thin slices. And I think once I get this cut, it's going to be more than 1 cup. But like I mentioned, the onions are so mild and sweet, I don't think that's going to, I think it'll actually add to it. So here we are, we have red peppers, sweet onions, and Red Haven peaches. So here we have the chicken. It's browned nicely on both sides. And I'm going to divide my recipe into 2 different dishes because there's just the 2 of us at home. So I will put one in and then a second one. So in this recipe, there's a nice sweet and sour sauce that glazes the chicken and the peaches, onions, and red pepper. So we're going to put that together. Again, it's super simple. And I like to cook it ahead in a saucepan and thicken it up and then just pour it on the chicken. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a cup of orange juice, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and 1/4 cup of vinegar, a tablespoon of cornstarch. I'm going to also add a tablespoon of lemon juice. Stirring it until it dissolves and thickens, comes into a nice glaze to top your chicken with. I'm dividing my recipe into 2 separate dishes, so I'm going to put half of the ingredients into one. Now when I'm slicing peaches, I like to use a curved knife because it seems to fit around the pit really nicely. And if you look closely, you can see how that peach is coming away from the stone. Just give it a little twist. It just pops right off nicely. So there we are, that's about a peach and a half. Then I'm going to use half of my sweet onions and just layer them. And these are so sweet and mild that you can actually use quite a few. And I'm just going to drizzle it on top. And turn your oven on to 350. I'm going to cover my chicken dish for the first 20-25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. The recipe says to bake at 350 for 45 minutes. I'm going to cover it for half the time, maybe up to 30 minutes, and then take the cover off, and that just browns the top nicely. Well, it's been 45 minutes, so our chicken should be ready. Now that's Okanagan Baked Chicken. If you found this video helpful, press like and subscribe for more videos.